Shedeur Sanders teases Deion for no longer having him as Colorado's starting QB. Colorado football has had an up-and-down start to the season, but after a solid win over Wyoming last Saturday, the team is trending in the right direction. Before the win this past weekend, the Buffaloes had many question marks, most notably at quarterback, sparking many fans to reminisce about the previous 2 seasons with Shedeur Sanders at the helm. Sanders, who has been closely following his alma mater, was aware of the Buffs' quarterback struggles and made sure to inform his father and former coach, Deion Sanders. Deion discussed the interaction on Jason and Travis Kelce's New Heights podcast recently. "I know you miss me," Deion told Shedeur. The younger Sanders replied, "No, I know you miss me," placing heavy emphasis on me, hinting at Colorado's struggles without him under center. While Coach Prime won't directly admit that he misses his son on the field, it is obvious that this Colorado team would be improved with Shedeur on the team. All jokes aside, following Saturday's 37-point offensive output, there is hope after Deion Sanders seemingly entrenched himself as Colorado's starting quarterback. Slater threw for 304 yards and added 86 rushing yards to go along with his 4 total touchdowns. Sanders and the Shedeur Sanders-less Buffs will take on the BYU Cougars this weekend, hoping to make a national statement as nearly a touchdown underdog at home. Follow Charlie Strella on X, Threads, and Instagram. Contact/follow us at Buffalo's Wire on X, Twitter, and like our page on Facebook for ongoing coverage of Colorado news, notes, and opinions. This article originally appeared on Buffalo's Wire. Deion Sanders talks Shedeur Sanders on New Heights podcast. The locker room was always a mix of sweat, laughter, and trash talk, but this time it felt different. Shedeur Sanders, now officially in Cleveland and stepping into the NFL spotlight, walked back into familiar territory with a grin that told everyone he had something on his mind. Colorado's training facility hadn't seen him in months, but his presence alone carried the kind of weight only the former face of the program could bring. And he wasn't going to let his dad, Coach Deion Sanders, known to the football world simply as Prime, off the hook so easily. "Man," Shedeur said, loud enough for the entire room to hear, "how you holding up without the best QB Colorado ever had? I know it's rough seeing me in that Browns jersey." The room erupted in laughter, players slapping lockers, assistants trying to hold back smiles. Deion didn't flinch. Years in the NFL spotlight had trained him to expect a jab here and there, but when it came from his own son, the game was different. Deion folded his arms, leaned back, and let the sunglasses do most of the talking. "Best QB Colorado ever had? Boy, don't make me pull up the highlight tape of me at Florida State. I'll show you what real greatness looks like." The playful back and forth wasn't new. Father and son had built their relationship on a foundation of competitiveness wrapped in humor. But now, with Shedeur officially gone from Colorado and no longer under Deion's watchful coaching eye, there was a new dynamic. Shedeur wasn't just Deion's quarterback anymore. He was his son stepping out into his own world, and he wanted to remind his dad exactly what he was missing. "You know what's crazy?" Shedeur continued, with that sly grin that always meant he had a punchline coming. "These Colorado boys probably wake up every morning wishing I was still here. Probably got posters of me in their dorms. Probably still practicing my cadence." A couple of current Buffs laughed, nodding their heads. One of them even chimed in, "Facts, coach. We miss the way he used to yell 'set' at practice." Deion pointed his finger, half joking, half serious. "Y'all better stop encouraging him before he thinks he runs the whole program from Cleveland." But Shedeur wasn't done. "I mean, let's be real, since I left, y'all had to find a new QB. That's like replacing a Ferrari with, I don't know, a used pickup truck. Gets the job done, but it ain't pulling up with the same style." The locker room howled again, and even Deion had to fight back a laugh. The truth was, Shedeur had transformed Colorado football. When he transferred with his dad, people doubted whether he could handle Power 5 competition. Instead, he lit up defenses, broke records, and gave Colorado an identity it hadn't had in years. Deion, though, wasn't about to let him get the last word. "Ferrari? You mean the car that's always in the shop? Boy, don't forget I was the one fixing your mechanics when they started slipping. Don't act like you got here on your own." Shedeur smirked. "Yeah, but every mechanic knows when the car's too advanced, it basically runs itself." That jab drew gasps and laughter like a punchline at a comedy show. Even Deion had to drop his coach persona for a second and just be a dad, shaking his head with a grin. The playful banter carried an underlying truth. Shedeur had grown. He wasn't the same college kid following his dad's blueprint anymore. He was carving his own name in the NFL. Yet, the bond between father and son was unshakable. Later, after the noise settled, Shedeur sat with his dad in his office. The cameras were off, the players gone, and it was just family. "You know I'm just messing with you, right?" Shedeur said, leaning back in the chair. "I know," Deion replied, leaning forward, elbows on his desk. "But deep down, I love it. You've got that fire. That confidence. That's what makes you special." Shedeur nodded. "Still, I gotta let you know, every time I step on that field in Cleveland, I'm carrying a little piece of Colorado with me. That whole program you built, the energy, the spotlight, you gave me the platform. But now, Pops, it's my time to show the world I can stand on my own." Deion didn't argue. For once, he just listened. "You think I don't miss coaching you?" "Of course I do," Deion finally said. "But this, seeing you go out there, making grown men chase you, proving everybody wrong, that's bigger than me keeping you here. That's legacy." Shedeur grinned. "So basically what you're saying is, I was the best QB Colorado ever had." Deion burst out laughing. "Boy, you ain't never gonna stop, huh?" "Nope," Shedeur said. "Not until you admit it." Deion stood up, walked around the desk, and put a hand on his son's shoulder. "All right. You were the best QB Colorado's ever had. But now, you better make sure you're the best QB Cleveland's ever had. Don't let that Ferrari talk fool you. In the NFL, every Sunday is a street race. And they don't care who your daddy is." The moment turned serious, but that was the beauty of their relationship. It could swing from playful jabs to deep, fatherly wisdom in a matter of seconds. As Shedeur left the facility, he turned back one last time, shouting down the hallway, "Hey Pops, don't forget to DVR my games. You're gonna need highlights for when you start recruiting QBs and they ask what kind of player you raised." Deion, from his office, yelled back without missing a beat, "Don't worry. I'll show them the bloopers too." The echoes of their laughter filled the halls, a reminder that while Shedeur might no longer wear the black and gold of Colorado, the connection between father and son would always outshine the colors of any jersey. For Shedeur, teasing his dad wasn't just about bragging rights. It was about showing that even though he had moved on, his confidence, his swagger,